All right, welcome in, everybody. This is officially the Underground Runaround. I'm your host, Brad Ross. We got Big Bad PavDaddy over there being
Peace.
PavDaddy live. By the time you see this, it will not be live, but we are recording live. Today, we're going to touch on more hobby-oriented matters rather than current events and sports, seeing as how we're primarily baseball guys. And with the lockout going on, who really knows where we're at with that? There's really no information at all. There's no updates. There's nothing to talk about except for who knows. Except for who knows. Who knows when we're gonna get to see baseball again. There's an ongoing Wikipedia page about it, and that's about it. So with that being said, we figured today would be a good day to pivot more into hobby-oriented things. And I mean, really, start at the top. There's a million things, and I'm probably exaggerating. There's a million things you can do in the hobby. You're going to have to tell her that we're doing a podcast. Hey, what's she know about the hobby? You know, get her to rip a pack open.
She's got some cards in her savings.
She'll pull the bangers. So anyway, I mean, essentially, the easiest thing for anybody to do in the hobby is to just buy a pack of cards, right? Just buy a box or a blaster, if you can find it. That's a whole nother can of worms. But if you can find it, that's essentially the way most people would access the hobby, would be just going to the store and buying a pack of cards. How does everyone get to where we are? Where we're just covered in wax and plastic wrappers and penny sleeves and top loaders and a mountain of cards, and then we find that most of the cards are pretty worthless, and that's always been the case. So it's not the end of the world to even say that or talk about it, because a lot of them are worthless unless you're really into building sets. And I think building sets is a thing of the past. I'm sure there's plenty of people ages I'm 31, so 32 and up, that would tend to disagree with me. But it is what it is. And I'm not a set builder, but I will say that short printed sets intrigued me for a while. So I was collecting short printed sets, and then Topps went on down the road and started making super short prints, and now you got the ultra short prints. And yeah, there you go. Hit that mute button. We're figuring it out, baby. This is the realest podcast in here. We're going to figure this out on the fly. I'd have muted his ass if I'd have known that. Anyway, but moving on. I assume you can hear me. Yeah? Even though I'm muted? Cool. Or you're muted? Perfect. So yeah, we just we collect all these cards, and then we don't know what to do with them, and sometimes we get lucky and pull something big, and sometimes we don't. And then that leads us down the next road. Then you got to figure out what to do with them. What do you do with them? Everybody wants to be a collector, but everybody has to have money to collect as well. So the baby is not having it over there. For those of you that are listening to the audio only, my co-host is going to step aside for a moment. And if I knew how to operate any of this better, I would just get here with you. So while Pav steps out, we'll just talk about... Man, my hat's crooked. You guys got me on here with the crooked hat. Let's get this back on track. So you go to the store, you buy a box of cards. The next thing you know, you bought 20 boxes of cards, all sports, all brands. You got a pile of cards, you don't know what to do with them. Well, maybe the cards you don't want to keep, maybe you have some value. So what do? We need to sell those cards. How do we do that? There's a million different ways to do it. Probably at this point in your collecting adventures, you've probably been on social media, in certain Facebook groups, Twitter, card Twitter is fun. Instagram is probably where everybody is. That's just where I'm not. I just don't do everything mobily, so it's not the best thing for me to do. They're killing me up there. Absolutely killing me up. If you guys have ever seen one of my breaks, this is exactly what I talk about. So I'm gonna pause for a moment, I think. But it's gotta stop. I'm sorry. This is the worst first 5 minutes you could have on a video. So anyway, Pav's back. Pav's back in the building. Pav, you good, babe?
Yeah.
All right. So this has just been atrocious. My end too. The fucking elephants are up there stomping around. So for everybody that's stuck with us this far, I appreciate it. It'll get better, but I mean, we're two fucking dads. We don't have a studio. We're not rich.
Two dads with young ladies in the house.
Yeah, we got little ladies tearing it up, running amok. But we want to talk about the hobby. So you buy these cards. You get your blaster boxes, all sports. You grab the stuff you want to keep. You stick it in a box. You got some other things that might be worth money. I said, what do you do? By this point, you're probably on social media, whether it be Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Whatnot is a platform. eBay, also a platform. Loop, I believe, is also another platform I don't know anything about. There's My Slabs. There's Card Ladder. Once you get into, looking into things to track values of cards. But now it's time to sell some cards. So what do we do? What's the move? What's your biggest tip for selling a sports card?
Well, okay. Biggest tip for selling a sports card would be to overprice and be flexible.
Oh, so that's interesting.
I would always list everything a little bit higher than recent comps, but understand where your real sale point is. Either you're wanting to sell a card or you're not. So if you're not interested in selling a card, then you're not going to take realistic offers. If you really want to sell a card, you'll take realistic offers. So your best thing is to probably list it a little bit overpriced and get an offer closer to what you really want out of it.
Yeah, I would agree. Sometimes I do. Specifically on eBay, for what you're saying, I definitely overshoot. Overshoot with the option to accept offers, like you said, and then that's exactly it. If you're wanting to sell, if you truly are wanting to sell anything, this is not hobby specific. If you actually want to sell anything, you're going to be willing to work on a price, and you're not going to try and squeeze the last pennies out of it, unless it's an absolutely ultra rare, one-of-a-kind type item where you're basically holding a blank check, and most of us will never touch anything like that in our lifetime. So what we're saying now is pretty well the move. If you want to sell something, you need to have a realistic price point in mind, just like you're saying, and you need to be flexible. I agree. I don't think necessarily overpricing is an approachable method outside of eBay, but on eBay I think it's absolutely the way to go. But I think that's just accepted practice over there. That's kind of how you have to do it, because if you post something at comps on eBay, people are still going to shoot you an offer for 60%.
Right.
Yeah. They'll send you 5 offers just to find out what your auto decline is.
Yeah.
So to go along with that, if you want to sell a card, you get the right price. You understand that you want to sell the card, so you're not gonna kill a deal. So say we have a $100 card, it's worth $100. You want to sell it for $100. You list it at $120, and when 95 shows up, you don't walk away from it.
Right.
That if you walk away from 95 and your number's 100, it means you really don't want to sell the card. If you wanted to sell the card and somebody's here right now offering you $95, take it. Because how much longer is it going to take to get another offer close to that? Is it worth the $5 you get paid now? Now, be done with it? Or do you want to wait till hopefully you get another offer? It's silly. Some people are super silly with, just trying to hold out. I don't think holding out is a good approach in the hobby. That's so fluid. Everything moves around quickly and for no logical reason sometimes in terms of price points. It could be $80 card one day, and then 2 weeks from now it's $150, and then 3 weeks after that it's a $45 card. There's no real rhyme or reason. And understanding the market, I think, is a lost cause. I think you can be aware of things in the market, but if you like try and predict patterns and do all this investment-y type shit, I think you're overlooking it at that point, or looking too much into it and overthinking it. Sometimes you just got to go with the flow, up and down, rather than trends. Is it up? Is it down? Are you going to make money? Are you going to lose money? You can't be afraid to lose money. You can't be afraid to cash out either. I think a lot of people learn, myself included. I should have sold every single Topps Chrome update Juan Soto base rookie I had when they were $450, $500. I should have sold every one of them.
Yeah.
And what are they now? They're under 200, I think. Right at
the Topps Chrome PSA 10.
Yeah. I have no idea.
But that brings us
to our next point. Let's give you guys a quick demonstration on how to actually look up a card. So say you have a card, you want to sell it. How do we do that? Well, here we got this neat little feature where I can share my screen with you guys. We can bring it up here. So there's a website. It's 130point.com. We'll make this bigger. There we go. Look at that. Boom. So you come down here, you click on search eBay sales, you scroll down, type in your card. So we want to know what a 2018 Topps Chrome update Juan Soto PSA 10 is selling for right now. They were $450 and $500 last fall, and now they're right around $250. So this shows you, this was an auction, so that's okay. This shows you the auction price. Again, another auction at $244. Another auction. Here we go. This is what I wanted to tell you about this website specifically that you may not know. On eBay, we'll find, you know what? Let's find this exact card. So here, let's open an additional tab. I already have one open. 2018. Oh my goodness. What day did that card sell? So, look at this. We type in Juan Soto and some fucking soccer card comes up. I love that. So we come down here, we hit sold. This is how you can look in the most basic sense of the word. You look up sold listings here. So we'll come down here. Here it is. So this card is on eBay. You can find it. It says $279, but it says it sold on December 5th, 2 days ago. Well, eBay, even if you click on it here, it's not going to tell you. Look, and there's more available. So you can make an offer. This guy has 5 more. You come over here to this listing. He accepted $250 for it, but eBay will not tell you that. So if you come over here and think you're going to get $280, not only are you wrong in the sense that it's very hard to get 100% of comp value outside of eBay, but you don't even have the proper value in your head. You're off by $30 and you don't even know it. So you got to use 130 point, or there's other places like Card Snoop that will do the same thing. They will show you the actual sold value of a card outside of eBay when an offer was accepted. The auction, eBay will always show you the auction price. Same thing here, $255. We can come back here and verify the same thing on 130 point. There's no difference. It's just 130 point will show you the value of an accepted offer, and that's a very valuable piece of information. A lot of people know that, but not everybody, and that's why we're touching on it. You can use that. But like we said, Juan Soto, that exact card was $200 to $250 more a year ago.
In March.
Maybe not even a year ago. Yeah, sure. Pav says March. So you could have sold all of those and then bought back almost double, if you believe in them that strongly. I think the card is going to be invaluable in the big picture of things. But I'm content to hold, and for reasons such as I'm into those for $8 to $12 a card, plus $8 to $12 grading fees, depending on when we send them out with PSA.
Right.
So that was a whole nother world we were playing in. And now the hobby world is changing, and I don't necessarily think base cards are going to be the way to go.
So when did you get started back into the hobby?
When I finally started making adult money. So, just a background on me for people that don't know me. This is totally unrelated to the hobby. It's an absolutely poor kid with a terrible upbringing, almost in a foster home. My grandma kept me out of it. Long story short, we had no money. We had no disposable income. We had no extra money. During sports seasons like basketball, even in high school, you don't play your game right after school ended. I wouldn't eat from the time I had lunch at school until I got home after a basketball game. You know what I mean? It's just, there wasn't an option. You had to stick around the school. You couldn't, if I went home, I would have never got a ride back to the school. You know, my grandma was working. So my first car, I paid $1 for it when I was 18 because a girl's parents was going to take it to the junkyard. I'm like, hey, no. Like, let me get that car. So I offered to buy it from him, and the guy just basically gave it to me, which was real cool. That car lasted me forever. Then I went to college, played baseball, medically retired, basically. Came back, got a job, started working a bunch of jobs. This would have been around 2010, 2011. At one point, I was working like 3 jobs. Then the Cubs drafted, Kris Bryant 13? Is that when he was drafted?
Yep.
Then shortly after that, Topps put out a first Bowman acrylic wall painting. I want to say that maybe it was in 14. I believe that's when I got in the Boilermakers trade. Shout out to Boilermakers, local 374. I got into Boilermakers. I was finally making money. I was working 7. I went from working 3 jobs for barely over minimum wage, which was, $7.25. I think I made like $9 an hour at one place. I made like $8.50 at another, and then I worked at a nightclub on the weekends. I had 3 jobs, and people are bitching about $15 an hour now, but that's a whole nother topic. You're not entitled to $15 an hour to flip a cheeseburger that you still can't get the order right. That's just personal venting right there rather than anything related to the hobby. It seems like food service is in a bad place. But, hey, the owners should open up them pockets, but the small businesses can't compete with corporate paying all that money. Anyway, back to this shit. You asked me how I got in the hobby, and I started bitching about the world. Welcome to Underground, baby. We're giving you the runaround right now.
I'm running them all the way around.
All the way around. Hey, we'll bring it back, though. No matter how far I run you around, we'll get back to the point. So I just remember the Cubs drafted Kris Bryant. That was high profile even then. He was high profile. I played in a tournament in college with Bryce Harper. Our teams never matched up, but he was real high profile, and Kris Bryant was like the next guy. You had Bryce Harper, who was huge as a prospect, like getting ESPN attention. You had Steven Strasburg in that time frame, and then Kris Bryant was like the next guy. So when he started getting some big media coverage before he's ever even close to playing in the big leagues, you're like, oh, who's this guy? What's going on here? And you're like, oh, they got sports cards. And you're like, oh, shit. So anyway, I'm in the Boilermakers now, and I went from working these 3 jobs and not making any money to I think I started on night shift. It was 70% of scale as a first-year apprentice. I think I was making somewhere around $23 an hour. But I was working 7/10s, and I was driving 74 miles one way to my first job. And I worked there for like 5 months. 7/10s, basically. There was some days off. 710s. I was driving an hour and a half each way. It was terrible. It was like, welcome to life, kid. They're like, are you gonna get a hotel? I'm like, hotel? I don't even have any fucking money. What do you mean hotel? I'm gonna go down there and work. And then it was a crazy job. I almost died a bunch of times. It was wild. It was crazy. I ran into some people that were on that job a few years down the road, and they told me, hey, kid, you'll never see another one like that. That was the Wild West. I'm like, well, fuck, at least I got to ride the cowboy or ride the horse one time. You know, I said ride the cowboy. We're going to have to edit that out. Wow. So anyway, I'm making a little money, right? So I'm working 6 months. I didn't have any money. I worked that job for
a Freudian slip.
No, it's not. So I worked this job for 5 to 6 months, something like that. I went out there in March, I believe, and I got laid off right around my birthday. It was the end of August. And I was actually pissed because I skipped on a welding test to work this job because they said that nobody was getting laid off, and I got laid off like 2 days later. I was pretty hot. I got laid off. They handed me a check. The first time in my life I've ever not had a job as an adult because I've always had 3 jobs. This dude comes up, hands me a check, and says, can you come back tomorrow? I'm like, wait a second. I haven't been Boilermaking very long, but I don't think that's how this situation works. I'm pretty sure when I get laid off, I gotta follow the rules, talk to somebody. I'm like, no, I ain't coming back. So I didn't go back. But I knew people that did. I'm like, huh, that's weird. So I get home. I'm like, fuck. I just worked almost 6 months. I made almost $50,000. That's just how many hours I was working. That's not because I was making a ton of money. I was making $23 an hour and driving over 1,000 miles a week. I mean, I was putting some work into my car. I was spending a ton of money in gas, dues, all sorts of shit. I was not making money, but I was making more money than I ever had. My rent was only $700. I was living in a duplex with my wife. We had 1 car payment. That was it. But that was also my first time getting checks north of $1,000. And when I got laid off, I didn't have dick, dude. I had maybe $2,000. I made $50,000. I had maybe 2. My first real, I said, shit, it's easy to spend that money. So as that money kept coming in, man, I started buying this Kris Bryant shit. Kris Bryant. I'm like, this dude's gonna save the Cubs, you know.
Great investment.
Theo comes to town. The Ricketts buy the Cubs. All of this starts happening. You know, they go get Rizzo. Then we hear about Anthony Rizzo and said, who's Anthony Rizzo? You know, he's like, oh, he's that kid that Theo took over in Boston. You're like, oh, shit. But he's like, he was on the Padres. He's like, yeah, he traded him. I'm like, oh, so Theo don't even like this dude. He already got, you know, I'm like, what's going on here? Anyway, so we're getting into the cards. Then I'm just walking around one day in Walmart. Grabbed some cards, took them home, cracked them open, whatever. I get on eBay. I'm looking around for Kris Bryant stuff. Topps. I had already had an account with Topps. So I was always like around the hobby. I was just never able to participate for financial reasons. I was always interested. I always liked cards. I always got cards when I could. You know, a blaster box maybe every few months. You know, very infrequently. I had binders. You know, I have sets from the 2000s. I have sets from, you know, I had 2011 update cards. I never found the Mike Trout sitting in my box, but I did have those cards. But I didn't really start buying cards until 15, 16. And stumbling around on eBay, buying shit. One time I thought I was buying a box, and I bought into a break. I didn't know what I did. So get into this break. Pete Faverio, Bargain Box Breaks. Great dude. I'll talk about him anytime. I own an entire breaking business. You can see it right there. I'm almost 4 years into the business now. And Pete helped me along the way after I spent thousands and thousands of dollars with Pete. Tons of money with Pete. Best card I ever hit was a National Treasures Alex Bregman button patch. My luck is shit. Absolutely shit. I skunked like 4 straight cases of diamond icons Was it Diamond Icon? I think it was Diamond Icons. I think it was the Cubs. They were like almost 300 a case. Skunked like 4 straight cases. Almost drove off the expressway, you know. Just, oh my goodness. Like, holy shit. I see what's going on here with these brakes. All right. Like, so I figure I want to do that. But anyway, to answer the question that I've been talking about for all this time now, I probably got into the hobby somewhere between 2014 and 2016. But by 2016, I was doing hobby shit every day. Absolutely every day. Infatuated with it. Obsessed with it, if you will. Just curious about everything. Once I got into the brakes, that's really when my hobby shit went nuts. Like, my hobby curiosity. I'm like, oh, you can do this? What else can you do? Like, I thought this was just blaster boxes. You know, I thought we were just fucking packs at Walmart. I didn't know what the hobby was. Then I started getting on social media and on Facebook and finding these Facebook groups for cards. And then you start, I'm like, oh my goodness, everything opened up. I'm like, what are we doing here? This is awesome. Like, this is awesome. Then I'm in all these groups. Everything's on. Buying cards, selling cards, getting kicked out of groups because I don't know the rules. I only got kicked out of one group, and I didn't know the rules, and I didn't do anything wrong. I got kicked out of a group for messaging customers of mine about a giveaway for buying stuff from me. It was the most fucked up boot I've ever heard of. And I talked to an admin. I ended up finding out that an admin lived a town over from me. And I'm like, hey, could you just ask what happened? And then he sent me a screenshot. He goes, yeah, they said you were soliciting members. I said, dude, I don't even have my own place. Like, where would I solicit them to? Like, I was just doing a thank you for buying my fucking cards because I thought it was the right thing to do. And apparently, you know, somebody got that message and snitched and thought I was, you know, I'm like, damn it, this is fucking wild. So that was like my first bad taste of the hobby. This would have been in 2016 or 17, somewhere around there. I sold a bunch of duplicate Kris Bryant rookie slabs that I had because that's all I collected. Cub stuff and like Griffey. I didn't invest in rookies. I wasn't flipping cards. I was just buying the cool shit I liked, winning auctions. I didn't really care about comps. I was making okay money. If I liked something and I saw it, I fucking bought it. And that's really how I am today still, as it relates to the hobby. I don't care. Like, if I see something that catches my eye and I ask you a price and you're like, oh, let me see which one comps. Like, I don't care. You could give me a number. Say the card's $50. If you tell me $70 and I like it, I'm gonna buy it.
All right.
I don't need to comp everything. And the hobby is so to that place right now. Everything's about the bottom line.
It's definitely changed. It's become a much more of a it's always been a business, but in the sense that now the collectors are becoming more refined in the sense that it's becoming more like trading art and things like that, trading NFTs, anything like that, where it's, you know, obviously every card is made with the same expense to the company creating them. But the value is placed by the marketplace. And obviously the marketplace really exploded. Really, you know, Brad and myself really got to know each other throughout 2018. And we saw an explosion anyway in 2018 because before the season you had Shohei Ohtani, and everybody was after Shohei Ohtani before the season started. And then once the season starts rolling, you get Acuna, which before 2018 you had Ohtani, which was huge, right? And you had Rhys Hoskins and you had Ozzy Albies that were like those cards were moving in the market. You could purchase them early on, and right when the season started, Albies started hot, hit a bunch of home runs. His cards went up. So that was really my introduction into making some money on prospect buying before those guys hit the market. And like when you had Acuna come in and you had Soto come in that year. Obviously, we can look back at it today, and that's been the biggest year I've been a part of because I wasn't collecting in 2011. So like that 2018, which we really dove in, and that's when Brad and myself started with a lot of our grading, which we saw in the marketplace that there was an obvious need for more graded cards at the time. At the time, there was.
How much was grading back then? Do you remember? How much was it to grade a PSA card?
It was $8 PSA cost for bulk grading. At the time, it was still long term, but the first big submission that we sent, it was like 2 months or something for us. We got extremely lucky.
It was freakishly fast.
It was stupid fast, and
you made one phone call. And it was like our cards popped the next day, and then that never happened again. Yeah. It was like hey, welcome to grading with us. Here's your complimentary submission. And then after that, it was back of the line.
But Brad and myself both talked about it because at that point, you could buy rookies of these guys, of Acuna, of Soto, of Ohtani, for $1 or $2 raw cards. And you could stock up on those cards. And you can send them for grading for the $8. And we were talking, hey, it's an easy way to double your money.
Yeah, if you sell it for $20, you win.
Right.
$25, $30 for a PSA 10, you win.
How many did we sell for $25 and $30? A ton. Because who could foresee that the market was going to explode the way it did, especially pandemic money, the way that played out. You couldn't predict that. But you could predict some explosion.
Base rookie PSA 10s did not explode until March of 2020, somewhere in that February to March time period, because I remember we got a sub back and I tried to sell a lot of that submission to fund the next batch of raw cards I wanted to buy to send in, and there was some gems like that Bowman's Best Juan Soto Atomic Auto I tried to sell that for $350 as a PSA 10. Nobody bought it. And then I sold like 5 Topps Chrome 2019 Eloy Jimenez cards for $20 or $25 each, and like 2 weeks later they were $80. And it literally happened that fast. Every base rookie of any significance went from a $20 to $30 card to a $70 to $100 card. Even the Gleiber update paper cards were $115 for a while. Everybody it was like you started a brand new game and you had all these pieces of equipment out there in the wild, so to speak. And you told everybody, hey, we're going to play this new game. And everybody, based on their geographical location, bought the best players that they liked for who they liked. And it ran every single player's card up over the moon. And now everything's coming back down. Everything's coming back down. And it's okay, friends. We're here to tell you it's okay. If you don't take anything else out of this podcast because it's so fucking unorganized and incoherent as we figure out how to do this thing, this is only episode 3. If you take anything out of it, just know that it's literally just coming full circle right now. And it's okay. If you bought some cards in the last 18 months, you're probably going to lose some money. But if you've had a good enough time in the hobby that you want to stick around and see it through, I don't think you're going to lose all of your money. I think you're finally at a stage where you can start safely buying some things that you like, that you want to collect, where you don't need to worry about the money, because I don't think the price tag on a lot of those things necessarily needs to be an investment for the types of deals you can find.
Right. We're definitely seeing, and I'll tell you, like, people look at it the wrong way because we're seeing more of a plateau than a dip. I mean, there's an obvious dip, right? in terms of like from the highs that we saw. But now, so we saw an insane high where it just basically went straight vertical on a chart. This dip isn't going straight down like this. This is more of a gradual, and now it's kind of flattening out. And if you didn't expect a plateau, then you really didn't understand what was going on last year. But I mean, you had an element where all of a sudden you had all these people that were stuck at home, a whole ton of new people into the hobby, followed by a whole ton of free money. So with free money, people spend it a lot more frivolous than money that you work hard for. So we saw and when you look at Card Ladder, I think Brad has an account to Card Ladder.
I just logged in.
Right. So like on the Card Ladder, you can look at the daily sales. And really, you're talking about going from daily sales of 1 million-ish at our high point to about 700,000. This is like a daily running average on eBay for the sports card category. So like really, the market has come down, but it's not so drastic that you can't buy or sell anything. And I think people need to realize we're looking at 2011 Topps Update Mike Trout. That when me and Brad got into this heavy in 2018, that card was $350 for a PSA 10. And Brad and myself would talk about it all the time when it went up.
The winner of 2018, they had just hit $500, and I only remember that because I wanted to buy as many as I could for $450. That was where I decided was the top of what I was going to spend. And I own a business. I have all these things. I've never at any stage, even right now, have an unlimited amount of capital. So I only have so much to play with. I started a business with cash, which is silly from a business standpoint, but I'm not a businessman. I'm a dude who's a tradesman. I worked hard and I did a lot of physical labor, and I fell in love with the hobby. So I got in the hobby, and then I started playing around with money, and now I'm forced to be a businessman, and I don't like it. But I wanted to buy those Trouts for $450. I passed on every single $500 Trout that came across my eyeballs because I said no way. And now they're currently on Card Ladder. The last one sold for $2,700.
Right.
For a base Trout PSA 10.
So you're looking at the same chart I am. So when we look at this chart, Brad can bring it up on his
screen. Show it. Yes.
Yeah, bring it up. So like when you look at that chart, that big explosion during the winter.
Here it is, right here. This is
year,
the chart you need to see.
Yeah. So that chart showing the big explosion during the winter of last year, obviously that part is the fluke. So I mean, you can look at where the numbers were pre-pandemic and where they're at now. That's a pretty stable value. It's just a realization of where the value actually should have been. So like you had all this free money that came into the market, and people
look at this
laws of supply and demand, because the buying was so high. All these people had the free money, so you get a shortage of supply. It really drives up the cost. A shortage of supply with a high demand, and that's what you get. That was bound to level out, and where it's at right now, I think that's where it should be. It should be in the $2,500 range.
Dude, so, my memory's pretty good. Look at this.
Yep.
This is 2018, yep. December of 2018.
Yeah. Yeah.
467. And the one thing I will say about Card Ladder, for anyone who's not familiar with the platform, PSA just bought them. Shout out to PSA. I'm actually not even affiliated with PSA. I'm a CSG authorized dealer. Is that Card Ladder only uses auction sales data. They do not use buy it now.
Right.
So that's one thing that means it's literally actual auctions. And we've had shill issues and things like that. We're not going to touch on any of that in this episode. But this only takes auction data. And yeah, this is it. By the time we get into mid-December, which is where I was, you couldn't touch one for under 500. And that's the trend you're seeing here. And by January, it was done. They pushed up into the 700s. We never saw them again. And now you come to present day, and look where we're at.
What was the trout at November 20th of 2020? Right around that day.
Give me a second. I'll pull it up. November 20th, 2020. So $2,500. So a year later, they're pretty well back down to where they were.
Right. So if we look at the Soto 2018 Topps Chrome at that same exact time, we can show that it was around 230 to 250, and right now it's at 230 to 250. So I think people they talk about the hobby dying. Brad, did you feel like the hobby was dying in 2018?
No, I loved where the hobby was at in 2018.
Did you think the hobby was dying at the end of 2020 in November 2020?
No, but I hated where the hobby was going.
But you knew that there was going to be this explosion. That's why we bought.
Sure.
Brad and myself, we bought a lot of stuff right at that time, right in the November, December of 2020. I know he'll tell you I bought a lot of Soto with the anticipation to sell in March because I knew there was going to be this explosion. There's just too much money in the market. It just had to play out that way. We're realizing a plateau. So I think like the idea that, stuff's going to keep getting cheaper. No, don't expect that. What you should expect is a lot more stabilization with more growth like we saw from 2018 through 2020, which we can show right now. The trout, we saw it from 350 to 500 to 1,000 to 1,500 to 2,000, 2,500. We saw a standard growth chart where it moved along a pretty common slope. And I think we're going to see back into that. You're going to see a lot of people drop out. A lot of people drop out that shouldn't have been there in the first place.
Here's who's going to drop out. Let me show you. Let me show you exactly who's dropping out. It's this idiot right here. The guy that at the peak, right here on February 3rd of this year, bought this card for $2,700. And all it's done is settle back in. And look, it's literally flattening out. But this is where we were. This is 2019. This is a year later. We can't go back where we'd like to go. But then it goes up. This is all pandemic now. So we're into the pandemic here. In January, February, we're at $1,000 for PSA 10. And we anticipated all of that. That was growth that we knew was happening along with his performance.
Right.
Just building his Hall of Fame resume. Then the pandemic comes, and now all of a sudden they're $3,000 cards. And then they go up and down. As we get into the summer, they go down. And then in the winter of the pandemic, they go back down. And this is the thing. Around this time period, October, November, December, this is generally when we see the cheaper baseball cards.
Great time to buy baseball.
This past offseason was the first time that I've ever seen it be the opposite, where it was speculation city. And this is proof in and around the pudding. I mean, this is all the proof you need. It's February. We're literally just starting to think about spring training. and people are spending more than ever when it should be the exact opposite, and it should be down here somewhere and then go up. So everybody who bought this past offseason set themselves up to get burned. I didn't buy anything last offseason. I bought one card of any monetary significance. It was a Topps Chrome Sapphire Vladdy Jr., and I paid $1,300 for it. I put it in a repack that I made, and the guy who ended up getting it in the repack, I think he sold it for like $2,400 and sold it cheap to help fund his down payment for his house or something like that. So last year was just a bad winter for buying. And if you look at what's happened since last winter, look, we're just using the Trout as an example. That's all this is. But you can,
like, the Soto's the same chart.
Yeah, let's find Juan Soto, because I bet it would look very similar.
It's the same. I was looking at it. It's the same.
So exactly. We could do Acuna. Yeah, look.
There it is.
What's the? Hang on, I gotta.
That's why I asked you. November 20th of 2020.
So March. So the Trout peaked in February, the Soto peaked in March, and by the time we started playing baseball in April, it started going down. And Juan Soto had a great year. So top 3 MVP and top 3 in the MVP. And look what it's done. It's just fallen off and leveled out. So now this offseason, if you guys want to look into making investment purchases, which I am not an investor, and this is not investment advice, and talk to your financial fucking planners, not two idiots with a microphone and some headphones on. But if you just look at this is exactly the same. We're going to stick with 2018 because it's, you know what? Let's just go to a different sport. 2018. Yes, Luka Doncic, the prison. Yep. I want to look at Luka. I just want to see the time frame now that we're doing this. I didn't even know we were going to get into this. But let's see here. So Luka's just been on a downhill trend since December of 2020. Look, pandemic spike in August, right before basketball season started.
Right.
It drops down during the season. It goes back up. And it got to a point with all these new people coming into the hobby that were so eager to throw money in. I think that's what happened. These guys are like, oh, cards, you can't lose. Well, look, everybody's been losing since. We just showed you 3 examples of 3 very highly sought-after cards where it's been nothing but lose if you're trying to flip those right now. It's not the move. This is where things, as the hobby as a whole in general, things are settling back in right now. It's okay. It really is okay. The only difference after things settle down between now and then is they're printing more cards. So you have to think about that, because I don't know what it is, but what did I say for Topps Chrome? They made 45 million more base cards this year, I think, just on pack odds alone. I don't know how to determine how many cards are made, but I want to say it was somewhere around 700,000 extra rookie cards from 2021 over 2020 per player to make up for that 220 card set. Yeah, 150 million increase. And that's just Topps Chrome. And they added a new format. You got all the different retail formats, all the different hobby formats. They added 4 new colors. Topps did all of this before they knew they were losing their license to Fanatics. So this was already set in stone based off of those spikes we just showed you on Card Ladder. Based on the crazy demand, how out of hand it got. Topps said, shit, let's just make some more. We can sell it all. It doesn't matter if the rookie class is good or not, because it wasn't as strong as it's been for baseball this past year, and it still sold like wildfire. But they added 4 colors, and that's just one product. So for just one product, to accommodate those 4 colors, they needed to print another 150 million cards. Million. It's a lot of cards. I could be wrong, but I'm telling you, I'm really good with numbers. Did I mention I started a breaking business with cash? I did my own books for 3 years. Got fucked with by the IRS. did my own books, had to pay somebody else to do my books for me afterwards just to prove to the IRS that I wasn't fucking with them. And it turned out that they ended up owing me $18 in the end anyway. I shorted myself. So I think I know what I'm doing with these numbers. So pack odds, that's all I had to work with. We did it live in a break, and that's one product, 150 million on the increase. So the thing that concerns me with that is A, we don't have any generational type talent, at least right now, that we're looking at from the rookie class.
Right.
And there's 700,000 more rookie cards per player out there in the universe to go grade, with all these grading companies being down right now anyway because of getting flooded with base cards. Right. I think that the cards are going to settle in like we showed you, and they are settling in. But I think the next move is not more base cards. I think this is where, if you want to try and play the up and down game, the buy and sell, the flip mode, the investments, whatever, the hustle, whatever you want to do, I think it's going to turn into serial numbers. Ink's always been extremely underappreciated. I think it may become more appreciated now because I don't think they're increasing autographs in that same scale that they're increasing the actual print runs, because like what Topps Chrome Light didn't promise any autographs.
Right.
So there's a way to dump a ton of unsigned cards. So I think when we figure out when it finally levels off, I don't think we're done leveling off yet. I think I really want to see through this baseball offseason to see where it levels off. I want to see that before I make a determination on the next type of move. Because like you said earlier, we played the flip game with PSA before people even cared about the hobby, really. And we did it with rookies, because rookies, the top dudes, sold $25 to $30 for a PSA 10. You bought them guys for $1 or $2. You sent them to PSA in a bulk sub. You paid $8 a card. You were in the cards for $10 plus your return shipping. You sold it for $25, and it cost you $3 to ship a card back then. So you were in these cards for $15, $16, and you were selling them for $25 and $30. And that's with your shipping, too. So, I mean, it was an easy way to just make a couple dollars. Then, when the shit hit the fan, oh my God. Then all of us that were sitting on those slabs that instantly turned into $100 slabs, and everything exploded. Everybody was out dumping them. PSA had to close their doors down because they were so far backed up. Everybody says, hey, well, PSA should have scaled up operations. Yes, but PSA warned us months before. They said, stop sending in junk cards, is basically what they said. They raised the rates to, what, $12? Is that what it went to? From 8 to 12?
And then 20. Yeah.
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 But I remember the first time they did it, they basically said it, and I know they would never say it like this, but they basically said, stop fucking sending us junk. We're getting too much junk. So now if you want to send a paper fucking Bowman card that there's 10 bazillion of, there's more base paper Bowmans than anything else. If you're going to send us that card, now you got to pay us more money. And people kept sending them in. So then they had to shut down. So now I don't think the base rookie game will be the game anymore. I think the game will change. It might cost more to play the game, but everything costs more now. We got a bunch of free money. We got to figure that out.
I think I think the base card game is going to get really tough for Raw. I think it's going to return to if some of these guys do show potential with the print numbers, you're going to get back to $1 rookie cards for a Raw base. But I actually hope that they keep the grading prices a little bit more expensive, so that with those base cards, we don't see the crazy numbers that we saw with the Juan Sotos and stuff. With us, those had a smaller print run. With the higher print run, if they had $8 per card, right, we'd see insane numbers of PSA 10s. That's what I hope we can avoid. And if they can do that, I think you're still going to be able to buy PSA 10s and stuff like that as an investment piece that you can hold on to. If they do well, if there's a market for it, you'll continue to see that growth. Just 'cause I think you're going to see a smaller number of those cards being graded, even with the bigger print runs, as long as they keep the prices more expensive. But this is why I also I'm not really fond of all the new players in the grading. And it's not so much that I don't trust any of them or I don't like what they're doing. I just think that without a managed system for the cost of grading, that if you put out cheap grading, you're going to have cheap cards. If you keep the grading expensive, it's going to make stuff harder to get. So I really do appreciate PSA, BGS, SGC, and of the new companies, the only one that I really do like is CSG, which I've told Brad that since because they were a grading company that they're not something new. They've been doing it with comics. They've been doing it with coins forever. They have a very good reputation in each of those grading markets. So it was only natural for them to get into the sports cards, and really they're tough. Brad can attest to they are tough. So you're not going to see big stacks of CSG 10s. I personally, I don't think I've seen a CSG 10. So like I think those are cards that as part of the market correction, we're going to see those smaller grading companies fail. I think CSG is big enough where they can obviously stay in the game. And with the market correction, I think they'll become a player. So I think their cards will definitely grow in value in the future. I think that'll be something people end up chasing is CSG, PSA, BGS, and SGC. I think those are your four that'll continue to be a player long term.
The question is, though, when Beckett and PSA, if and when they ever open up a bulk option, is the price point going to be less than what some of these newer companies are charging? Because if it is, then yeah, those newer companies are in big trouble. But I don't think they will feel the need to undercut anyone,
right?
Because of their position in the market.
You saw that PSA is accepting some regular submission types, a very limited number. And the pricing that I've seen is $95 per card. That's for the regular service. So I would imagine bulk is going to be somewhere around $40 per card. And I think $40 per card, if you could keep the bulk pricing there, I think that I think that's where it should be. Market dictates that bulk pricing should be somewhere between $30 and $40, and that's where it should kind of stay for a while until we see those numbers climb up again. The problem was that we had the explosion in value of cards with still cheap grading available. So that's why they got so backed up. It was just the value of cards had risen beyond the value of the grading.
And it literally happened overnight. Like in a matter of 2 or 3 weeks, everything went fucking haywire.
Right. I saw a lot of instant millionaires made.
Yeah, like anybody who was holding Michael Jordan rookies, that's my biggest regret of the entire boom, is I never got a highly graded Michael Jordan rookie card because I thought they would be around forever because of the junk era. Right. And now between that and The Last Dance, I'm never going to be able to afford a highly graded Michael Jordan rookie card. You know, now that's something I'm just going to have to live with. I fucked up. I missed a boat. Oh, well.
That just depends. You just got to, when you got a little bit more money to play with and you're making bigger long-term investments. I think right now, because you and I are more focused on, even like your Vlad Guerrero play and stuff like that, it's pretty short term. When you're talking about 5 to 10 year investments, that's pretty short term. So like I think when you start getting into more long term investments, I think that's when you'll start looking at them again. That's when you when you become a big player and you're talking about real investments. If you had a real investment fund that you were managing, you would buy more things like the Michael Jordans, like the Mickey Mantles, like the Willie Mays, because they are so stable that like we saw a huge increase in their values. I'm not sure if they got, do they have 52 tops Mickey Mantle on Card Ladder?
I have no idea. I'll look. I highly doubt it. I could be wrong though.
Right. But like cards.
Yeah, they sure do. They have 52 Mantle. PSA 4, 5, 6. It all depends on the grade, really.
Right. So like those cards, especially the really highly graded, very rare, super low number, those cards have continued to rise. And I think with stuff like that, because they're such a stable thing, that you're gonna see, right? So you're seeing a lot more stability out of the value of those cards.
It fell off, but it didn't fall off nowhere near the levels that the modern stuff did. You're absolutely right. It peaked at 8,600. This is a PSA 6.
Right.
It peaked here in March, which is the same time period that everything else went screwy, and it's down. It's only down, down to 69, and we say only, but that's because a lot of the other ones ended up down here, back to where they were. Yeah.
So like I think with stuff like that, because it's a more long-term investment, you have people that the person buying that card isn't buying it to sell it in 3 months. They're not playing that game. They're buying that card to hold on to it for a long period of time and to watch that investment grow that way. So I think you're gonna see a lot more stabilization in the market in general, and you're gonna see some guys their stuff's gonna come down a lot, and you're gonna see it bounce up when they got hype and stuff. The market will play more like it did from 2018 to the beginning of 2020. I think that's what we're going to get back into. We're seeing the stabilization of those prices back to the early 2020 pricing. So I think that's kind of where we're at in the fluctuation. So really, I believe, my personal opinion, not investment advice, but I would say right now is a pretty good time to buy. And I think you'll see good returns in really just 5 or 6 months. I think we'll see that March jump up again. It won't be anything near as dramatic as what we saw. I think like the Soto, you're going to see a card go from 250 to 300, a much more stable growth.
Yeah, I agree. The other thing I'll say is I will be shocked if PSA comes back with bulk under $50. I'll be absolutely shocked. The other thing I will say is we are going to have our friend Brett come on and talk more about the actual grading processes and fees, prices. A deep dive into card grading. We'll get Brett on. We might actually do that this weekend. I can speak on CSG things. Like I said, I am an authorized dealer for Certified Sports Guarantee. Brett is a PSA expert. He at one point was sending out monthly subs of 200 and 300 cards personally. The reason I want to bring Brett on is for that reason, and also the fact that he is a gym teacher. He is a PE teacher. He is not a millionaire. He's not moneyed up. He's a regular fucking guy, just like most of us in the hobby. I'm doing this podcast for the hobby. I think it's fun to talk about sports because sports are what lead us to the hobby. So I don't want to be this dumb platform where we just sit here and talk about, oh, Josh Allen cards are going down because the Bills lost this week. Fuck that.
Right.
I'm not doing that. It's stupid. We're not going to talk about it like that. We're going to talk about what's fun about the hobby and how the hobby actually works from a functionality standpoint. So in terms of hobby functionality, there is absolutely room to discuss grading, tiers, service levels, prices, upcharging, insurance, subgrades, fractional grades, altered card, miscut. There's so much stuff we can discuss along that. And if you're watching at home and you're watching this on YouTube, in the comments section, just let us know. Let us know what you want to know, because the more feedback we get from you, the more we can actually answer those questions that you have. But the one thing I will say about CSG for tonight that I didn't get to touch on earlier is Pav said he doesn't see a lot of 10s. That's true. But here's the thing most people don't know about CSG as it relates to PSA. PSA's 10 is gem mint on their grading scale. CSG's 9.5 is gem mint as well. That's what they consider it. There we go. You can see it if you're on YouTube. Sorry, audio people. But CSG's 9.5 is considered gem mint. So you have to lower your sights when you look at a CSG slab. It's the same grade. It's the same quality of card. CSG just holds everything to a little bit of a higher standard. I respect the fuck out of it. I think it's great, because how many thousands of cards have we sent to PSA? How many cards have we got back a little bit different than we sent them in? And I'm not trashing PSA by any stretch of the imagination. It was $8 a card. We sent thousands of cards to them. But how many thumbprints, bad slabs, debris inside
PSA
the slabs?
10
how many PSA 10 fucking white corners? You know what I mean? So that's the thing I really hope the hobby gets away from, because one thing during the boom when the prices peaked that annoyed me and turned me off so badly was, okay, here I have this graded card and it's a 10 and somebody's asking me for more pictures of the card. Like, what do you mean? This card is already graded. You want to know more about this card? Why don't you call PSA up and ask them? Because, yeah, I get it. I understand their side of it. But it's like, why did I go through this runaround to have this card graded if I still have to prove its value? Like, I thought that's what I did when I graded the card. So I'm not really complaining, and I'm not knocking the consumer, because I think it's bullshit that there's a lot of inconsistency with a lot of those slabs. It sucks. It puts a little black cloud over it, but I don't think it's going to kill them by any stretch of the imagination. But I also think that when the new companies show up, if they put integrity over everything else, it's going to help them stick around, even if they get priced out. So CSG is, I hope they're around. I think they're going to be around. I've heard rumors of the rework on the label. People don't like the slab. I get it. The plastic itself is so nice. My biggest takeaway, these are the first CSG slabs I've had in my hand in person. The plastic's so clean. It's not muddy. It's not muddled. It's crystal fucking clear. The label, is it an eyesore? I don't think so with subgrades. Without the subgrades, though, it's an awkward looking slab. It's an awkward looking label. But when you have the subgrades on there, it looks great. It really does. Seams? Seams are good, dude. Because, yeah, PSA has a lot of seam issues. But, yeah, it looks like...
Yeah, I think PSA is going to be investing in some new machines pretty soon.
But CSG absolutely nailed it with the plastic. If you've never... And I'm not pumping CSG. They don't pay me. I'm not pumping PSA. I'm not trashing any of them. I love the hobby. I need people to understand this. I love everything about the hobby. Competition makes people grow. Competition makes companies grow. Growth makes people better. When you have better people, you're going to have a better hobby. So I want everybody to compete with each other. But obviously I want them to compete fairly and not do any lowbrow bullshit. That's besides the point. So CSG's got the good slabs going for him. Beckett's got the reputation on big time autos. PSA's got the reputation on PSA 10s. You know, like it really is. Whether you want to say it or not, nobody wants 9s, and CSG is pumping out the 9s right now. Absolutely pumping out 9s, but it's an eyesore to people because they go, oh, just a year ago a PSA 9 was equivalent to that of a raw card, and now that's changing too. But that's everybody's mental approach is a little bit behind the times. So I think it's going to take time to shift, and I just think the integrity is what excites me about it. There are new companies like HGA, Tyler Hitt. I don't want to not mention that guy. Matt Schwartz with Forensic Card Grading. I am not against anybody who's trying to better the hobby. Everybody gets into this fanboy bullshit, and I'm just not that guy. I'm not brand loyal. I go to the gym with Nike shorts and Under Armour shoes. You know what I mean? I don't give a shit. Whatever works best for me. And that's how the hobby is. Whatever works best for you. There's a million things to do in a hobby. There's a million different ways to have fun. There's a million different companies right now to grade with. If you trust them enough to send them your cards and let them touch them, go ahead. I've sent cards to HGA. I've not sent any cards to Matt Schwartz. I love Matt Schwartz. I've opened personal Bowman cases for the guy before. I have no ill will towards him. I have not sent him any cards because I don't have anything to send him, because I haven't been buying, because everything's settling in right now. He just opened his business up at a time where I'm not doing business. You know what I mean? I'm not in the singles market right now. So tons of grading companies, tons of options, buying and selling. Pav's getting distracted over there. You know, he's got the lady in his ear, probably telling him he's got to go. So is that what's going on right now?
I'm good for at least like another 10 minutes.
Okay, so we got about 10 minutes to wrap this up. I'm trying to bring it full circle. We have some notes we wanted to touch on, and we got way away from that real quick. But if you did listen, I guarantee you there's something useful you're going to take from the podcast. Just please don't take anything out of context. Don't take a clip where one of us said something bad about a company, because that's not what it is. We're trying to bring awareness to the issues. Everybody does everything a little bit different. Everybody does stuff cool. HGA has the badass labels. CSG has the grade integrity on point. They have great slabs. FCG, I think Matt's got a great label. I think Beckett has a great label as well. PSA has a great, just overall, like as a grading standpoint, I think they're the well-rounded company, PSA.
Right.
Because you can send some cards that might not fly somewhere else to them and have them not grade the auto or something like that. You know, if you get a card with a streaky autograph, but it's still a good quality card, and it's a valuable card, hey, let's just send it to PSA and fuck that auto. It's already certified. You know what I mean? We don't need to grade it.
Yeah. I think
if you get the money auto, you send it to Beckett and get that 10 auto grade. You know, that helps. Doesn't hurt.
Yeah. I think a big thing to take away is I think the majority of the people that are watching and listening to us have probably been in the hobby for a little while. For anybody new, there's really two ways of the hobby. Either you're buying cards to flip cards, or you're buying cards that you like. So you have to go into it with that kind of mindset. Is what is your goal? Are you buying for your personal collection stuff that you like, or are you buying to flip? Now, obviously, if you're buying to flip, you have to play it just like any other investment, just like you're buying stocks or anything like that. There is a very good chance you're going to lose money. And that is a very real thing. So I will say that probably the people that enjoy it the most are the people that buy the things that they like. Like Brad said, he buys what he likes. Obviously, he plays both sides of the coin. I will say that I've seen him buy some things to flip. That's the name of the game, especially if you want to have more money for your own personal collection. It's a good way to do it if you understand the market. I think you should, you should definitely try to learn as much as you can about the market before you try to flip anything. It is more important to understand what other people want versus what you want when it comes to making money. So if you buy cards that people want, you will sell those cards. If you buy cards that people don't want, it's going to be very difficult to sell those cards. We gave you some good pointers, especially in understanding how to look up the comps. Take your notes, 130point.com. It's going to show you what the stuff sold for. You need to base your comps around that if you want to sell the card.
Take amazing pictures.
Take really good pictures.
Take clean pictures. Zoom in on your camera. Pull your camera away from the card. Zoom in. You don't need to get 3 and 4 times zoom. Get you somewhere between like 1.5 times to 2 times zoom. Get a little angle. Get your glare off you can do it. It's so easy to take a proper picture of a card, and I don't think people understand that. I really love these 2-piece card stands. These are hard to find. They're 2-piece. Yeah. They're not here. These are like solid one. These stands suck. I hate everything about these stupid stands. They're terrible. The 2-piece ones, you can slide it back. I literally have this maxed out. You can change it and bring it forward and get a more vertical stance on your card. I let everything sit back. Let it sit down at an angle. I can angle my phone. You don't need a box. You don't need one of those stupid photo.
Oh man, those boxes are good though.
They're good, but you don't need it.
$10 they help.
But you don't even need it. You don't even need it.
You don't need it.
You don't. That's what I'm just trying to explain to people.
The stand is more important.
Yeah, get a good stand or find a way to prop it up properly. The real picky people with raw cards are going to want pictures outside of a top loader and a sleeve. Do that at your own risk. I'm sorry if somebody's that picky with me. I'd rather just put it on eBay. And the less you handle a card, the better. Take great pictures. Have a price. If you're selling on social media, don't ever list a card without a price. You're playing yourself. 75% of your audience is going to scroll right past it. I consider myself a buyer. I'm not even going to talk to you if you don't have a number. And if Collector Brad is in a room, because Business Brad is a penny saving asshole, and the shit I buy for investments, I got to get the best deal possible because it's a business move. It's not a collector's move. Collector Brad is paying 200% of comps right now. I don't care what the number is. If you caught my eye with the card and I like it, I'm not even going to argue with you. Some of my customers know that the best. Like, shout out to Jimmy Ori. I bought a card today that came in. I don't even know if it was worth it. He posted a card. We didn't have a price. He just gave me a number. It was a gold Aramis Ramirez autograph from the Brooklyn collection. It just come out. He got his box. He opened it up. He pulled it. I said, dude, that's awesome. I said, if you sell it, let me know because he sells everything. He said, I don't know. I said, me either. He said, $30. I said, okay, cool. Aramis Ramirez, in the grand scheme of things, is an absolute nobody. I would have a hard time trying to sell that card outside of Chicago, maybe Pittsburgh, which is a terrible baseball market. Anyway, but I bought that card because I like it. So Collector Brad don't care. Business Brad, totally different thing. So take good pictures, because if you find the right person that scrolls past your feed, it doesn't necessarily matter what your price is. If you have something that really catches their eye, don't take your card on some lady's tits. That's the new thing that's going on eBay. Having some bitch put their card slab in their titties. Like, I don't know if you've seen that. That shit's getting wild. People are getting desperate too, it seems like, because things are settling down and slowing down, and these people that just started a year ago, or they don't know what to do because they lost a ton of money. This is all these retail flipper fucks, which we're also not even going to talk about today on the episode. They ruined the retail for the normal person, because now retail's twice what it should be, and you have every store on planet Earth is loaded up with Chronicles draft basketball that can't sell. Every store on planet. Go walk into any Walmart, Meijer, Target, whatever regional store you have that sells cards. Just go look. I guarantee you there's some Chronicles draft picks basketball sitting around, because the retail flipper people bought every single package of every single product last year, thinking they just struck gold and not having a single clue on what they were doing. But I don't want to get into that. I don't condone that bullshit. And all that happened out of that was it turned into internet bots. They buy everything now. So retail's still unattainable for the average person. It costs more. It gets flipped around, but it's big bots that buy it all now. So it's a sad thing with that. But take good pictures of your cards. Have a good price. Be willing to negotiate. Know that you want to sell. Like when I set up at a card show, I don't put anything in my stand that I will not sell. Maybe there's some things in there I'm not going to budge on price too much, like Mike Trout, rookies, things like that. But I don't ever put anything in my showcases that I'm not willing to sell. Some people will put things in there and put no price on them and have no number in mind and just put them out there to show whip their dick out. What are you doing? What are you doing? Well, you're cool. You got cards. Everybody has cards. Put a price on it. Sell it to somebody. Don't be an asshole. Have a price. If you trade, I don't trade much. If you trade and you don't know the guy, get vouchers. Trading's probably the most dangerous thing, but some of the trades I've made have been delightful. I've had some great dudes that don't care about values. Trading's hard because people want to base it on comps, and then because it's trading, all of a sudden their cards are worth more money. You know, a $20 card is now worth $25 in trade value. Like, this isn't a fucking pawn shop. So now I got to go find a card you like, and then I got to tack $10 onto it. That trading is silly. But if you do it, make sure you know who you're trading with. If you're buying from someone on social media, I would say make sure you use PayPal if you have it. Pay goods. If you have to use Venmo or Cash App, get vouchers if you don't know the person. There's plenty of great established people. There's plenty of great rooms. There's plenty of big rooms run by scammers or people that are on scammer pages, like the Bowman Chrome room. You know, there's I don't want to name drop people, but there's some sketchy dudes that people just join these groups and they don't know any better, and now they're prey, and that's a whole nother unfortunate situation. And those are the types of people that we might see leave the hobby because they didn't know any better. But I think for what I wanted to talk about on this episode, we talked about a ton of shit. But I think we hit all the points. I don't know if we hit them in any sort of coherent order, but I think we definitely touched them and then some, which is really all I'm trying to do. If you guys listen to it, you'll be better off for it. That's really all I have to say about it. Hopefully you are. If you have questions, like I said, if you watch this on YouTube later or you hear it later on Spotify, Apple, wherever you listen to the podcast, reach out to us. You know, if you have something to add to it, if something we missed on, something you can relate to about what we said, anything you can add, we're here to let you add to the conversation. You got anything else, Pav?
I that's about it. I mean, like everything else, just keep tuning in. We're gonna add a little bit. We'll make you a little bit smarter. We're gonna make you smarter than us. That's our goal.
That's not gonna
Shouldn't be too hard.
It's gonna be incredibly difficult. I'm just kidding. All right, guys, that'll wrap it up. Guys, remember, we're branded now. This is the Underground Runaround officially. We're going to work on intro, outro stuff still. This is still a work in progress. This is still very much early infancy of this entire thing. I would still consider this a pilot. I mean, we're technically right around the 5-hour mark of overall content between the 3 episodes. I don't know where this will get edited down to, or if I will edit it at all outside of correct some audio. But we're still early. We're still learning. We don't know anything about podcasts, and we're just idiots with microphones and video, and decided we know a lot about the hobby, and we like to talk about sports. So we like to talk about sports, but we do know what we're talking about within the spaces of the hobby, the confines of the hobby. So if there's anything we can do to help you with the hobby, if you have, like I said, specific questions, those are really going to help moving forward. The more you guys help us steer the conversation, the better we can help educate you on what it is that maybe you should be doing. With that being said, next time we're going to try and get our friend Brett on so we can actually discuss grading in more detail, because I'm sure people want to know about prices. I'll let you know right now, every single company is different. Every single price is different. Every single shipment is different. Insurance, declared values, all those things affect the price, the bottom line. But we'll get an expert. Brett's a legit expert. He's not a group sub guy. He does it all himself. He does it all. He knows how to do all the paperwork. He knows turnaround times. He knows prices. He knows the changes from when it was cheaper to where it is now. I mean, the dude knows shit. So we're really excited.
He's keeping good notes.
We're real excited
like
to have him
seeing
on.
his notes.
Oh yeah, he's done a lot. He's a guy that before everybody stole all the retail, he was buying all the retail, but he was opening it. He was a collector. He was doing his thing. So I'm super pumped to have him on next time. Hopefully we can make that happen. And I hope you guys enjoyed the podcast tonight. Again, YouTube, like, subscribe, comment, anything down below. And until next time, guys, have a great evening. We'll see you. We'll see you with the next episode. Pav, you got anything?
That's it, man. You guys get ready. We're going to teach you how to really enjoy the hobby. That's the most important thing, right? Enjoy the hobby.
Have a great night, guys. Peace.